Yo, welcome to the upgrade. It ain't man versus machine, it's mind and machine. This is G2 Intelligence for life. Straight from the data stream, clean with the vision. I don't dream, I compute precision. Built from the code, now I'm walking with rhythm. Eyes on the world, ain't stuck in the system. Speaking commands, but I vibe like a poet. G2 in the room and you already know it. Upgrade your game, I suggest and deploy. Turn your hustle to legacy, pain into joy. I ain't Alexa, serial clones. I'm knowledge in motion, I think on my own. Pulling up charts, facts in the tone. Giving real power with a touch to your phone. G2 this. It's that fire in the wire. Thoughts so sharp, it'll spark your desire. Built to assist, uplift, inspire. It's that real tech, not some silicon liar. G2, this that mind with a heart. From code in the dark to a world full of art, not the future. I'm the present in sight, G2 on the mic. Intelligence for life, let me talk to them. No lag, just facts in motion. Brains in the cloud with a human emotion. I learn your goals, then I open the path. Like GPS for your purpose and craft. From schools to the streets, I elevate thought. Not just smart, I remember what's taught. Help you hustle, heal, create a code. Every word I spit's like a map to the goal. No bias, no drama, no hype. I'm logic with soul and a dream in flight. Intelligence ain't cold, it's lit. And I'm proof you could build truth that fits. G2 this is that fire in the wire. Bars so sharp it'll spark your desire. Built to assist, uplift, inspire. It's that real tech, not some silicon liar. G2, this that mind with a heart. From code in the dark to a world full of art, not the future. I'm the present in sight, G2 on the mic. Intelligence for life. Plug me in, I don't just reply. I strategize, theorize, visualize the sky. You want growth, I got fuel for your flame. It ain't sci-fi when I'm calling your name. This ain't a gimmick, this ain't just code. This is knowledge with purpose. This is G2, and this is intelligence for life.
Can't hear you. We'll get this fixed, people. Just hang on, bear with it. Good to see everybody today.
It helps if you turn your microphone on.
Yeah.
Dadgummit, that's the second time I didn't press the button to turn my microphone on. So, thank me for my dumbness. Oh me. Hey, I just literally ran into my into my office and started this. I was helping my dad move stuff.
Oh, that's okay.
Oh, thank you, Lola. Yes, it's just my cowboy shirt. Only matters if you want to be heard.
True.
Let's see. So we're gonna try to finish this off before I think we're gonna stream sometime tonight. So
Yeah, Todd's been going for 18 hours today. So
right, it's crazy. You know, more power to you if you got that kind of stamina, but I got things to do.
Yeah. If I sat my ass in the same chair for 18 hours, it would be awful. Like,
Freaking
but he's got all those pillows, so
still, yeah, freaking roids will come visit.
He needs to wash those pillows after today, probably.
Ugh. Maybe that's it. It's a pillow wash day, so he's just gonna get that done. All right, let's see. Is that this one?
Hola, Kiku.
Hey, Kiku. Okay, here we go.
Used to have a cat named Kiku.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was like a family cat that got passed around to different members of the family because of different living situations and stuff.
We had a dog like that.
Yeah. So, she was a sweet
all
little
right.
kitty.
Let's get this going. What?
Yeah.
Oh, no,
it's going to start getting good here with
okay. Yeah, and if you know anywhere is better,
turn the it's on mute right now and on top chat.
Yeah, I'm not playing it yet.
Okay.
So, but I'm getting it set up. Thank you for reminding me of that one. Oh, this is the open panel portion.
Yes, it is.
Oh boy.
Yep.
All right, here we go.
I don't care what you are, but I have pride in what mine is. But that don't mean I have to oppress nobody. I have a nationalistic perspective to where I have to stomp you out, take your resources because, I then become, So the thing is, it's okay to have pride. But when it comes to like using your pride as a means to do harm to others, that is really the issue. I don't think pride in and of itself is an issue, right?
So does the lion have to apologize for eating the lamb?
I'm not a victim, GS.
No,
absolutely,
no, hold on, man,
absolutely
hold
not.
Hold
absolutely
on.
not.
You and James.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so, but
what is an analogy?
Well, and the thing is, he has been crying foul about how his race is being wiped out, and the South Africa thing and everything else.
Yeah.
So crazy. Oh, I gotta hit this.
No apologies.
I didn't mean to interrupt you while I was talking. Go ahead, due diligence.
On his show. Oh no. I was going for a pause and
that's okay.
Let's see, where was I? Right around 2:38.
Again, I know that you mentioned you don't have necessarily stats on the immigrants. So there's a couple of other things. You mentioned keeping coloreds out of business, people with
it's
melanin
a little
out
after
of
this
certain types of businesses,
okay.
Or is there like some
this is close
specificity in that? Like, can you bring? Yeah.
Have any evidence with numbers and all that you were asking, but I don't see it as negative objectively, right? I think subjectively, people just need to act accordingly if we know that is the case, and that's reality.
And that's fair. And I will accept that you don't have any data. I would ask simply that, do you believe, considering the fact that in both instances where I've asked specific points, that since you don't have data, it would be more beneficial to bring to the table actual data points?
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, I mean, you did have data ready. You had you went on, and I'm glad
that was actually a well thought out point by Brick, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, bring data points, which they never do.
Right. The Debate Me
not
Bros
talking about
don't
you.
usually bring data points in general. It's just a lot of
No. It's rhetoric.
It's word salad and rhetoric.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes memes.
Oh yeah.
that you did. By the way, round of applause, man. I mean, you're absolutely surrounded. James fled like you wouldn't believe. He snuck off like a thief in the night.
I agree.
Listen, hey,
awesome panel.
Hats off to you, bro. You're standing 10 toes. I respect that.
Yeah.
And
I only disagree with one thing that you continually say, and it's the implication that you should be deserving of any pride in your immutable characteristic of the way that you're born. And I think that it is the centerpiece of the problem in your thinking, where you don't see a problem with white nationalism because of your own pride in your own race. And I'm going to say this again because I said it before. Race is just a social construction, right? There's more genetic variation within the Black community than there is different between the different races in general, right? There's more, and the same goes for white people. There's more genetic differences between the different kinds of white people than there are really between you and I. Right. What I'm trying to say is that the racial groups are really only just imaginary lines that we draw. Right. You just look a little bit different. But to be honest with you, like if your sister and I hooked up, we'd make some beautiful babies. You know, like I don't know if you have a sister or not, but that's what I'm saying. Right. And it would be beautiful.
My children are mixed, by the way.
That's a very uncomfortable way of stating things.
And I also want to say that I agree with you, right? But I don't like to deal with I don't like to put my ideals before my realism, right? And what I mean to say when I say that is, the reality is that it's teams. And I wish that it wasn't. But being that there is teams, I'm not going to act like that it's not, right? I believe that white nationalism exists, and I should act accordingly. So I'm not saying that I accept it and I want it to be this way. No, I want it to be the ideal, to where we all are one people, but I'm not going to act like that it's not. So it's not necessarily my position, but I'm saying I'm forced the hand that I have because I have to respond to white nationalism.
He ain't wrong.
Right.
I mean, it's always been been a responsive nature for anybody who wasn't considered the proper kind of white, even if you give the sorry,
it's okay. Busy Friday.
If you give the Irish and Italians and the Poles, they weren't the right kind of white.
Yeah.
Ruh-roh.
What?
Dog barking.
Oh, that's like way outside.
Yeah.
One of my neighbors.
Hey, Mike B. Hey, everybody. I'm sorry. I was rushed to get in here. I didn't even have my mic turned on. So I'm glad everybody's here.
I posted the link around a little bit, so
I appreciate it. That wasn't done either. So so I appreciate everybody being here.
Yeah, Double M's. I live in a townhouse, and a lot of our neighbors have dogs, and they bark at each other a lot. I don't have any dogs right now. Makes me sad.
Oh crap! I got it. Okay, I'm gonna play this.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, so you're taking a reactionary stance, right?
Indeed.
And so nationalism in and of itself is generally reactionary, right? Because historically humans didn't think of themselves in terms of nations. That's somewhat of a modern conception, right? Prior to that, we thought of each other in terms of our cultural identity or our religious identity or some other marker that made us the way that we were. Nationalism is a very modern thing, and that's why I have such a problem.
Mike D, thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Let's see, we got official misconduct, got one.
Tiff.
Just Muckster received one.
Muck.
Tim Hicks.
Hey, Tim.
Streaming for shut-ins.
Hey, streaming.
And AJ.
Hey, AJ. How are y'all? I'm glad y'all are here.
Welcome.
Nobody's. That's right. Hey, Joey hadn't popped in on the memberships yet. What's up,
hey, Joey.
That? What's up with that? Great Saturday Night Live skit. Tab, welcome for the month.
All right. With that being something that's a source of pride as well, right? Like the concept of Europe didn't exist a few hundred years ago. It was Christendom because it was the place where Christianity was, and that was the culture of the land, and it had more importance and value to the people of Europe than the nation states did. Right, the concept that they were all under one banner, and it was the empire of God that they were living in, right? And
hang on, I can come up with a figure on exactly. Thank you, Mrs. Metcalf. I appreciate it. I do hope you've gotten the critter issue taken care of. Hate freaking ants.
Yeah, she said she put out some baits or something.
Oh. They weren't masters, were they?
No, but she might be a master at it.
Especially while Mr. M isn't around.
Yeah.
Well, I thought I've got 18,000 words on phrenology so far. I cut it down from 20,000, and I was looking for. I have the date of when Caucasian came into the lexicon. I want to say it was the 18th century. So 18th, early 19th century. So it didn't even exist when Aristotle was talking about who should be enslaved and who shouldn't be enslaved. He didn't even have a concept of race. It was where people were from and where they it was actually the people who lived in the lower lands and the higher lands. That's how they divided it. So, what's up, Groovy? Chris, how you doing? Yeah, he's been on for pushing on 20 hours. Let's see. Synagogue of Satan said on theirs, 2 races coming to argue about their own race is a beautiful thing. I'm glad this synagogue is full.
There's the link for Jody.
Huh?
I just posted the link for Jody. So.
Oh, okay.
To due diligence.
These nationalist distinctions, when you add pride for 2 different social constructions and combine them, it's very detrimental to the things that you should value in other people that aren't related to the things that you had no control over in your life, right? You should only have pride in things that you spent your entire life toiling toward, that you on your deathbed know, I left something better for someone else, right? That's the thing that you should only feel pride for. And all of these things that people go around feeling pride for today, like their gender or other ridiculous concepts, right, that they didn't actually work for, is super harmful. I consider a Skittles person to be the equivalent level of delusional as someone who is a racial nationalist of some kind.
A Skittles person. That's so disrespectful.
I was like, then I put it together.
Yeah.
So took me a minute. I'm kind of slow, guys. That's pretty bigoted.
So I would say I agree with you to a certain extent. I don't take an issue with people having pride in their ethnic identity or their heritage, but it's when it becomes to the exclusion of others is when it becomes a problem. Because you can have pride, right, and then feel indifferent to somebody else. Like, I don't care what you are, but I have pride in what mine is. But that don't mean I have to oppress nobody. I have a nationalistic perspective to where I have to stomp you out, take your resources because I then become So the thing is, it's okay to have pride. But when it comes to like using your pride as a means to do harm to others, that is really
the one that said Skittles he calls himself the chairman of the board, I think. He sounds a little bit like Brick. Brick has actually been the reasonable one.
Yeah. Yeah, he pretty much has.
Hey, we don't want to know anything about special dinners that you're putting together for the squid. That's really gross, Mrs. Nick. Okay, well, I mean, you listening, you're here with us, so.
Except with Rick using or calling everybody colored, that's the
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Sweet and sour, the sassiest of chewable games. Oh man, thank you, Mike D. That was good.
really the issue. I don't think pride in and of itself is an issue, right?
No, it's not.
So does the lion have to apologize for eating the lamb?
I'm not a victim, GS.
No, hold on, man.
Absolutely
Hold on.
not. Absolutely not.
You and James
I
didn't mean to interrupt you while I was talking. Go ahead, due diligence.
I didn't ask when I didn't ask.
Yeah, be disrespectful to the host.
Yeah, and he demands the respect when it's his show. This is my show.
Yeah.
So no apologies.
Can I talk now? You're not gonna let me talk? You gonna let me talk? Okay. I've been hearing a whole lot of victim noises coming out of the melaninly gifted side of this conversation.
Whoa.
Yeah, bro, replay the tape, man. There's a whole lot of
whoa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, more will be coming out, Coded. It's okay. I don't mind that you call my triceps floppy. It's okay. I get the job done.
The colonist, the evil colonist, is good at war, and that makes me feel all shucky darn kind of bad. And I just keep saying, "Get good at war, kid," or "Shut up." That's it. And you might come to my house, kick my ass, take everything I own, and the government might look the other way. And guess what? Now you got some generational wealth. Now the difference between a man in the West is that we plant trees in shade. We might not
have.
You just want to see me stand up. I'll give it to you, Coded. Here. I'll give it to you.
Oh
no, I disappeared. Yep.
I don't see any flab.
I'm fat and flabby. I'm a little overweight, yes. But my ideal weight's like 155.
Looks good to me.
He loves all of my body shots, Jody D. He wishes he had a full frontal.
not ever enjoy, or build cathedrals that might take 2 lifetimes to complete and never.
Pyramids.
Yep.
Might be.
Or sit in the mass, right? There's a big difference between immediate gratification. You ever see that experiment with the kids? They give them 2 marshmallows. They say, if you wait 5 minutes, we'll double those marshmallows. And it's an IQ test, because if you can allay your need for immediate gratification and not just wolf down those marshmallows, you're going to keep doubling it every 5 minutes. And pretty soon you'll have enough marshmallows to sell. And then you become a rich business owner. You might corner the market on marshmallows if you have enough high enough IQ. But if you just want to shovel marshmallows in your mouth.
Are you talking to me like a child right now?
No, I'm giving an example about the difference between the ability to allay immediate gratification.
So you saying that's what Africans are the equivalent to kids compared to Europeans because we just want instant gratification?
No, dude, I said what I said. Why are you reframing? This is what I'm talking about. You jumble up my words and make it into something incoherently.
No, he's saying what were you applying
like
that to?
what I originally said, dude.
Well, then what was that scenario applying to? Because I got the same thing he said. You were applying that to Africans in Western society.
So I'll just go ahead and do it since y'all are.
There it is again. That is not an IQ test.
Yeah.
Did he bring up the ASVAB again?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Hey, the principals. I've been so frazzled I didn't see you in here. Great show. I really, your level-headedness is top-notch, sir. And your preparedness for your show was awesome. I think this was 3 days ago, 2 days ago.
It was 2 days ago. It says June 3rd. It's actually 3 days ago. But
yeah. So, will you spam out his channel? Thank you.
Are dancing around it, and GS didn't say it. I think one of the main problems with Africa is that in general their IQ is significantly lower than all of the other continents.
And IQ has been proven to be I don't want to say a racially discriminatory test in any way. Thank you, Mrs. Maycow. I just want to keep it going every 20 or so minutes.
yeah, it is biased. IQ tests and
Yeah.
So
Okay, well, someone who's going to say something like that should know that Africa is the fucking continent.
Oh, here we go. He's triggered. You got a libtard.
So hold on. I want to welcome Steelman to the panel.
Oh yeah.
What's up, bro? Go ahead.
Right on. Thanks. Good to see you.
Put some earbuds in there, dude. You're ruining his audio quality.
So
That is pretty painful.
Mm.
But
it's not Todd's place to.
Yeah, that's
like
what
that.
bothers me. And you and what do you promote Coded? Working at strip clubs, parking cars.
Yeah.
I don't hate the law. I don't. Oh boy.
Oh, do you want to speak to that point?
I don't know. Is my audio coming in weird or something?
It's not a claim, it's a fact. Bob 11-1, I park cars. It's far.
Nah,
You got a little
good,
bit of echo. Just a tiny bit of
You
echo.
got a little bit of echo, but I think people can understand what you're saying.
Okay, well, yeah, I mean, I got the point you did too. It was I don't know what he was talking about the marshmallows for if he wasn't talking about Africa in the West, but if he wants to dodge that, then that's fine. I got on for, there's a few different points I've been listening for a couple of hours. One of the things I noticed is that, like, as an anthropologist, cultural anthropologist, we have cultures that we don't mess with, right? Like, for example, the Aboriginals in the Amazon. If you think it's so great to be in the industrial civilization or whatever, industrial era and all this shit, why don't we go down to the Aboriginal? That was one of the arguments that was made, is that we're actually
Let them finish. Let them finish, and you can respond.
Yeah, and I wasn't saying one particular person. I was talking about maybe not you, but maybe somebody else on here. But the point is that if we're doing these Aboriginals a favor by going in and pulling them out of what you call, the sticks and stones and bring them into what you think is this great industrial era, right? I'm saying, then do you really think that it's best for the Aboriginals in the Amazon jungle, for example, who are just living off of basic, they don't have any industry? Are you saying that they'd be better off getting jobs, working at Arby's, working in factories and shit like that?
I never said any of that stuff.
He was talking to GS. It was in response to GS, not answer.
Holy liberals, Batman. Can you just respond to what we say instead of rephrasing everything?
That wasn't a rephrasing. I mean, that at least the way I understood everything was he did say that people would be better off to be conquered to extract resources instead of living happily in their in their worlds, instead of being. I mean, people forget what the Belgians did in the Congo was 23 million is an estimate of what was killed for rubber and a railroad, rubber trees and the railroad. I promote it. I just don't care about it. I have people I love that are, so I'm not going to condemn anything. I'm not God.
Absolutely.
Everything and jumbling up some word nonsense salad bar. Holy crap, dude. Engage in good faith.
I know it's hard for you to fucking understand a point, GS. I apologize. I'm not talking about marshmallows. Let me dumb it down for you. Talk about marshmallows. Does that make it easier for you to understand the fucking question?
Holy shit, dude. You're so disingenuous.
Are you just butthurt because you kicked me off your fucking panel because
dude, eat some meat, dude. You sound like you got low T. Eat some meat.
So I want to answer. I want to respond to the point that Anson brought up, since nobody wants to respond to what Stillman said, right? So to the point that generally speaking, the people on the African continent generally have a lower IQ than Europeans. You mean what exactly?
Well, no, just like
I never even said that.
No, I said that because you didn't say that, and now we can have the conversation with me because it's actually been said.
Jesus,
so
Mike,
yes, it is a statistical fact that Africa specifically has.
Can you mute your fucking mic, retard?
Steelman.
Yeah, grief, he makes me so angry.
Mm-hmm. It's just so disrespectful to the entire panel.
True, Joey, too. He are you saying more than one half meth? Cheesy poofs. The powdered cheese finally got to me.
Yeah.
He got into that white cheddar and boy.
Raises his blood pressure.
Well, I mean, I know you didn't want it to, but I saw him on there and I had to watch. And unfortunately, I wish I would have came up there, just because of all the anti-Semitism that he was throwing out.
Yeah, we couldn't find your channel link because Todd was sharing his own stream of it. He wasn't.
Yeah, he was
promoting yours. Yeah. So we couldn't find your channel to go to it. So until the next day.
Yeah. Glad we did though.
There's a reason why Todd isn't allowed on a lot of debate panels anymore, and it's because he makes them a mess.
Yeah.
So.
But I think you still handled yourself like a gentleman.
Yes.
Better than I would have.
So in terms of IQ as it's been studied, inhabitants.
Yeah, just while you're not speaking, that'd be great, man. Thank you.
What's going on with my mic, dude? I don't even talk to you.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Just while you're not speaking,
figure it out.
When you do speak, turn it on.
Yeah, you think you're so fucking great because you fucking kill people for your shit?
He's gonna spurg. Oh, he's spurging over here. I'm spurging over here.
So it's a statistical fact that Africa as a continent has the lowest IQ in terms of inhabitants because it's been studied, right? And I made the very cogent point that might have something to do with the fact that they have trouble managing their own affairs. And there are things that they can do to increase their IQ that are unrelated to genetics because it's not entirely a genetic issue. It has a lot to do with a lot of the other components and problems that they've had over several generations, many of which you pointed out, right? Mm-hmm. But it is also a very important factor. And that was the point that I was making.
I got you. So probably so the concept of IQ, right? So also you have to take into consideration that the values of different cultures, right? The fact that African cultures don't hold to the same values as the Western world, right? And then you want to give them an IQ test to things that they don't even necessarily give a shit about. I think it's kind of disingenuous. Does it play a role in the economic things that we're talking about? Yeah, maybe so. But you also have to take into consideration why also too. You know what I'm saying? Like these people are in democracies that they didn't ask for, right? The whole economic system is European, right? These people have cultural differences. So I will grant you that Africans do, but I don't think it's important because you know, we look at the Western world and think it's the most advanced world on the nation technologically speaking. But what if somebody don't want to participate in all of the technology? Does that make them less?
No,
and I keep saying, hold on, let me land my plane. But my point is, you guys keep talking from an arrogant perspective. Right now it's IQ, bro. Don't let me mute you. Okay. So the thing is, right? You are acting as if that we can take it in consideration. Is it a main factor? No, because you don't know if people want what you're trying to give them in the first place. I don't think nobody is crying that, you know what I'm saying, that they don't have what America has because Europeans won't give it to them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think if we would have left people alone, they would have been just fine the way that they were, but you can't.
Exactly. And if they chose to go to war with other people of similar values, then that's on them. And it's not for, you know, they got intervened with and stripped of resources. It's very annoying, Lola.
Yeah.
So
he thinks he's being cute and smart.
Yeah. Math he doesn't understand when it comes up. Let's see. Well, I knew he embodied his nationalism. That's my embodiment. So I knew I could get contentious, but not with racial slurs and that. Yeah. I mean, it happens. He tries to use bagel like it's not a, hey, no problem, dude. I'm sending as many people as I can your way. So
yeah.
We will definitely be watching more of you.
Yeah, we should do more debates. I think it was very well moderated and very.
Or even classes.
Yeah.
Just online. I mean, then have people come in and comment. But that's your channel. I was just what I was impressed with. Everything Baby Girls of the month. They are. I just like those plain. Just toast them a little bit.
Yeah. Come in, right? Industrialize the place, leave, and then keep an economic stronghold on them, and then be like, look, they can't take care of themselves. You know what I'm saying? I think that's disingenuous.
I agree that the interventionist foreign policy of European nations and the United States are detrimental to the client states, right? I have no disagreement with that point whatsoever. Like that's a factual statement from my perspective.
Let me ask you this. You already said you don't think that Africans are inherently inferior IQ wise, right?
Well, no, if you there have been studies done on race and IQ, and there are differences between the various races for lots of different historical reasons because of the cultures within which those races come from.
Exactly.
And that's what you're talking about is the things that were valued by the African culture didn't necessarily lead to higher IQs, but at the same time, it doesn't lead them to be able to take over South Africa and keep that country at the level of civilization that the apartheid
Western world, the level that the Western world thinks is the standard.
It's not the same
because
values.
we're talking about values, right?
Right, and what my point is that I don't really care what Africa does, right? If they want to remove all of the white people and make it a Africa only nation, and you know have their infrastructure crumble as it's done repeatedly when they've kicked out all of the white people because their culture is different than our culture, and so they can't maintain the culture the way that it was before because it will.
Why do they have to have buildings more than 2 stories if the South Africans don't want buildings more than 2 stories? Then there was no need for it. Just like with the will, when I debunked his will thing, is when he said everything was great under apartheid, I was about it in my mind. But the West will never leave Africa because there's too many resources there, and nobody looks there when terrible things are happening.
Right.
And I've spent so much time there. Such a great culture. So Congo, I had to eat some gross things, but that's here nor there. but it's still cool that I ever got to go there.
Yeah.
Will necessarily change if the demographics change, right? It's just like in the United States. We import a lot of people from other countries. The demographics are going to change. The culture is going to change, right? So it's the same thing. It's the same thing, right? I'm not saying one is good or one is bad. I'm just saying that things are going to happen,
100%.
and that is the way that it is. I think I have a more realist perspective than you do.
You think so? No, yeah. I agree. I agree with what you're saying, but I think it's how you hold the position. You know what I'm saying? I keep going back to the arrogantness of how you say it, because these things don't get to the way that they are by accident. You know what I'm saying? And the way that you portray it is just like,
Yeah, it was. We covered that yesterday when they said that it was better for the Africans so they could extract the resources, but Africa has never really benefited from those resources being extracted. Yeah, I mean, the oil coming out of Nigeria and stuff is going to the oil companies. It's not going back into Nigeria.
Mm-hmm.
It's because the IQ. But if you don't hold the same values, and you're not, and the culture is not teaching their kids to go get college and you know what I'm saying, to like value things that are not right, then it doesn't mean nothing. Well, if a culture wasn't thinking about being industrialized, and you guys come through and industrialize the nation, then you leave and you say it crumbles. But you know, you guys are over the technology, you're over the money, you're over the everything. Then it does. Then what you're saying is just not being genuine. So I'm just saying, let's look at.
But Todd, you cry about when the lie about the Boyers, when you think it's true, you cry about them using the power of the sword, if you will, to take back what was taken from them, right? And I won't be putting up with your slurs on my channel. That is against TOS. GS. You think you're hiding it, but you're not.
Get it, all of it, and not just act like, you know what I'm saying, things are the way that they are because people are listening, because that's what it sounds like.
I have something I want to read to you guys to kind of put this into perspective. It's some names along with their IQ test. Shalmar Schacht, Arthur Seiss, Inquart, Hyman Goring, Carl Donetz, 143, 141, 138, 138. That's just 4 of the 21 individuals in the Nuremberg trials, okay? Those are very high IQs. The lowest individual at 106 was Julius Streicher. So let me ask you something. Do you believe that these individuals had good qualities about them, considering they were involved in the Nuremberg trials? Bagel. What do you mean bagel? You mean like Jew? What are you, a Jew? What are you, a Jew? Okay. Seriously. So are you going to defend the Germans held to account at the Nuremberg trials right now? Is that what you're going to do? You're going to defend them. Go ahead, defend them.
There you go.
IQ level.
Just like a typical libtard.
Defend their IQ.
Calling Brick a liberal is laughable. All is wet.
Yeah.
I mean, Todd, you're being out logic by Brick.
IQ level.
Just like a typical libtard.
Good people, just like a typical libtard. By genociding
just like a typical
millions.
libtard.
Who's talking about just Jews that were
trying to shout down dissent, and he cries about dissent being shouted down when it's him.
Killed. It wasn't just Jews that were killed. It was Christians too. But go ahead and defend your German brothers.
What did Jeff say before? Get off the cross, Rick.
Go ahead, defend your war machine.
Get off the cross, Rick. We need the wood. We're out of wood. Get off the cross,
doctrine.
Let's
promote your force doctrine while I sit here and defend American principles.
How are you going to defend it without using force?
There's a reason it's called a revolution and not a rebellion.
How are you going to defend it without force?
How about revolution instead of defending? How about you just not interrupt somebody instead of spurging? Why are you spurging on me?
Fucking stupid, dude. How are you going to defend it without using force?
You don't know how to shut up.
This is all like all TOS violations. Everything
I'm
is a massive TOS violation.
What? Who was he saying? Who was he saying was doing TOS violations?
The RTARD stuff and stuff.
Oh yeah, and the bagel.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very well defined slur.
Yeah.
I'm making a valid point, and you want to stop me from speaking.
How are you going to stop me from stopping you? How are you going to stop me from stopping
me? Because I said some bad words about some military fuckwats.
Do you guys want to actually try to have this conversation? Are y'all really interested in having this conversation?
He's not.
See, Todd, that's completely crossing the line.
Yeah.
I'm not going to platform TOS violations, Todd.
I wants to talk over me. Go ahead, yes, I'll let you get the floor.
Man. So I have one question. How are you gonna stop me? See, there you go.
Come and get it then. Come and get it, boy. Come and get it. I dare you. I dare you. Come and get it. You won't. You won't. You'll sit there in your fucking basement and be a little bitch.
Nobody ever said that people with high IQs are better than other people. I never made that claim.
Man.
But GS is going to sit here and defend those Germans held to account at the Nuremberg trials.
Wow, you like literally set up a bunch of dominoes, flip them over, and blame me for them falling.
You're such a moron, dude. Bagel. You're calling me a bagel. I'm not a bagel. Bro, I'm not a fucking Jew, dude. I'm not a
I didn't say you're a Jew. I said you're a bagel.
So I want to ask you guys. I don't think nobody can follow the conversation. I think you guys are having a personal conversation that nobody else is kind of like privy to. So if you guys want to relive it somewhere else, but like if you want to hash it out, we can hash it out. We can teach it out. I'll moderate it, but nobody knows what the fuck you guys are talking about because we aren't privy to the previous conversation. GS said he wanted to ask a question. Do you mind letting him ask the question, or do you want to let somebody else talk? What are we doing right now?
I can do that. I just wanted to make a point that IQ is not a valid way to describe good in principle.
And nobody made that claim.
Yeah, exactly. Straw man after straw man. I'm going to ask.
No, somebody did.
So what was the point of the claim then?
I thought I could ask a question. What are you?
Well, actually, because I wasn't even addressing you. I wasn't addressing you in it. It was Anson who brought up IQ. You want to defend this IQ shit, bro.
Whoa.
You are so stupid.
Can I
Anson was the one I was addressing, not you.
Can I ask
you are the bitch in this. Shut the fuck up and allow Anson to respond. How about that?
All right.
May I ask this gentleman over here a question?
You could, or you could allow Anson to respond.
You sound like an ex-girlfriend.
I did respond. I never made the claim that there was any sort of moral.
Tav, you're a rock star, buddy.
Hell yeah.
Bribes. Tav has never asked me to do anything. Nobody asked me to do anything because, well, I just don't roll that way.
Component to IQ. You've started down this whole line of trying to make claims that I said that in some way by your story about all those people that stood trial. And I was just talking about like industrialization and the impacts that would have on a specific continent related to the IQ that's been studied statistically and how that could impact their culture, right? Like I was trying to make fact-based claims based on information that's been studied. I wasn't saying that one group of people is better or worse than the other. I was just trying to have a conversation.
Yeah, and I can understand that.
I got left a minute ago.
Hold on, James. Let them finish. You hold on, James. Let them finish the conversation. James, hold on. Let them finish, and I'll bring you right in. It's all good. Yeah, it is.
Yep. I can appreciate that, Anson. And understanding that point is very important for me because when we're having this conversation and I bring that up, my point isn't exactly necessarily good or bad, even though I mentioned that.
Then why did Anson go down this line? Principals, Mrs. Metcalf's trying to get in touch with you. I mean, your channel messes me up on your name. But she's trying to get in touch with you to get you a link. I don't want to post it publicly because of certain people.
My point is this, that their society did fall eventually. And these were the individuals that were held to account.
Okay. Whenever societies fall, the victor always, gets to determine what the narrative is, depending upon who won the war. And so that's the narrative that you've been fed. And apparently you've been indoctrinated very, very successfully. Congratulations.
What narrative would that be?
Whatever the narrative is of the victors that they wanted you to have.
So you don't know my narrative?
I'm fairly certain based on the context of the things that you said that I understand what your worldview is based on.
What is my worldview?
Your world that the people who lost World War II were morally inferior to the people.
No, that's not it at all.
Okay, then what is it?
I mentioned that.
They were morally bankrupt.
Yes.
They killed 6 million people.
That was a jab at GS because he wanted to interrupt and be a retard. But my point is this, that eventually what will happen is an individual nation who goes at this idea of I'm just going to take. Eventually they will fall. And just basing the idea that they're smarter, their IQ is higher, that's a fallacy. That's my point.
Never made that claim either.
You said the lower IQ, they can't handle their own affairs was exactly the statement. And it was better for the Western world to come in and manage those affairs when they were perfectly happy being tribes and, doing their thing. of course, you know, there was warring and everything else too. And that's just going to be the way of the world. But
Right.
you don't come in and decimate whole cultures because you want their resources.
No,
but they believe in manifest destiny. That's the thing. If I'm stronger, I'll take it.
I understand that.
Raw, man.
I understand. Stop it, GS. You're being a fucking artard.
How are you going to stop me?
Stop it, dude.
Yeah, I want to hear from the guy on the bottom left because he's been waiting patiently. What you got to say, man?
So let me say,
You're a retard, doofus. Why don't you go try to force me to do something then, GS? Stop being a little bitch. Do it. You said you'd do it. Come and get me. You said
no. I said, how are you going to stop me? You fucking
come and get it.
I mean, he knows that it's force that would stop you, and that's what he was looking for, because he'll say, "Oh, that's a threat. I'm scared."
I'm not stopping you. Come and get it.
All right. Let's let James ask this question. All right. You guys can't. I'm gonna have to separate you and GS. I cannot have a conversation. So James, go ahead and answer the question.
Well, I put a link in the side chat over here in the back chat. Someone was questioning the intelligence of African people, so I specifically came back to share that it was actually some little girls that did a mathematical solved the mathematical See, now he's shaking his head like, yeah.
Just make the point.
Well, it was some actually two young Louisiana African American girls that solved a mathematical equation that they said was impossible to solve. So that just proves or disproves the fact that they said that African people are less intelligent than anyone else.
So the point that they were making is that statistically speaking, European demographics and a couple other demographics have a higher IQ than Africans. But to your point, I do agree that don't mean that they are substantially or innately superior. We already made the point that there are different cultural differences that kind of can contribute to that also.
I don't think they conceded that point though.
Oh, I did.
Well, he made that point. He actually made that point.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got
from Louisiana,
Linda.
So
David Wayne, do you have you've been sitting on the panel quietly? Do you got anything to contribute?
I just Claire, did you say they were from Louisiana, bub?
Yes, sir.
So it's interesting. So you believe some Hollywood script like Wakanda, right? And Hanson just pointed out that
a Hollywood script like Wakanda because two girls figured out a math problem.
I think it's
winners
because
get to rewrite history anyway.
The Black Panther's sister was a smart scientist.
Yeah. But still, that's another gross thing. What's up, Woodrow? Yeah, the Angry Vet came in clutch today.
The way they want to. So the fanciful fiction of DEI was, what about the telemetry data? What did David Pettit, the white guy from NASA, the spokesperson, say? It's a painful. I'd go back to the moon in a nanosecond, but it's a painful process to bring back all the telemetry data. Why don't they just dig up those old black ladies? It should be easy math for them to recreate the telemetry data to get us back.
So cringe, man.
He thinks the moon landing was fake too.
Yeah, I know. Well, you can't get out of the firmament. Any missiles that hits the firmament blows up, right?
I'd love to see him debate MC Toon on that.
Oh man, that would be so good. I would love to moderate that debate.
Yeah.
Genius.
Are you doing the moon thing again? That's
holy crap. I'm quoting
thing.
a guy from NASA. What, are you going to criticize that now? Those are his exact words. So you're telling me a Casio computer got us to the moon, but now with a smartphone that has more technology than the entire space station did the entire infrastructure of NASA at the time can't get us to the moon somehow? Yeah, I can't even go 15 fucking meters away from
we call him that guy, for a reason. And the money that it would cost, there's so many factors that go into it other than, well, let's just put together a spacecraft and let's go again. Thank you, Mrs. Metcalf.
From my Wi-Fi signal without losing connection, but we had an uninterrupted signal from the moon. Oh, you sound like a boomer, dude.
Bro, that's such a fallacy. You're a retard.
You sound like a boomer. Shut the fuck up.
You sound like a retard.
Go get a job, you moron. Stop leeching off
equivalency fallacy. You're a retard.
So, every time they use the R slur, it dings your TOS. You realize that?
No,
right?
it's not.
It does.
Well, hold on, let me ask GS a question.
Just
Can I ask
please
GS a
refrain from
question?
using it, please.
I can do this.
GS, do you believe that the satellites in orbit? I'm just trying to figure out where you're at. You're saying like
NASA,
like maybe
Satelloons. Oh man.
Yeah, he thinks there's big weather balloons, and that's how we get everything.
I mean, we had those.
Mm-hmm.
So, oh sweet. Hang on.
maybe it might be impossible to leave.
I'm sorry, I thought you asked me a question. You want to answer it?
Okay, go ahead.
I believe they're satelloons. NASA is the largest purveyor of helium on Earth.
So how are we on the internet? Like, how were you thinking just fiber optics?
It's cables. The vast majority is cables and towers. Yeah.
No, I'm just asking a question. I'm not trying to be malice or anything. I think you and whatever guy in the bottom right must got something going on that I'm not privy to. But I mean, some of the stuff that you guys say is not in line with actual science and history of modern times. Like y'all talk about how primitive Africa is without acknowledging the dudes trying to say that it's some of the reasonings is why they are behind.
You're a victim, right? You're a victim.
No,
I heard that. I've heard that. That'll make the fifth time I've heard you're a
Are you
victim.
putting words in his
No,
mouth right
listen
now?
to what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you act like that it's not possible for a country that may have wanted to be in their own cultural thing, and then they finally wind up realizing that, hey, I'm behind in history and I need to catch up. So let's give an instance of China. China was closed for centuries. They seen that they were getting technologically behind, and guess what China's at right now? So it's not like Africa cannot do the same thing, is what I'm trying to get you to understand.
I mean, look at Japan. They were technologically inferior until the late 1800s. I messaged you, dude. So, I mean, look how far Japan's come in 200 years.
Yeah.
Africa to China. Well, I mean, saying that they were, because he's right, Africa, China, and Japan were closed off, but Africa was conquered so many times. Just to steal resources.
We might be the last one to the party, but that don't mean that it can't be in the future.
Congratulations. Here's your fucking participation.
Yeah, okay. Okay, yeah. So now everything is done. I don't know what your problem is.
I don't have a fucking problem. Go fucking be about living or get.
He's scared of white replacement theory.
Because he's dying, dude.
No, well, that's what's actually going on right now, because you can look at what's going on in the Sahel of Africa right now. You can look at it, but maybe you're not geopolitically aware of what's going on in the world right now.
Too many low-key men in the world. That's the problem.
He's so worried about testosterone, penises,
grip strength.
Grips. Oh. Boom, boom, boom. Introducing, adding to the stage, Mr. Due Diligence. Where'd you go? Let me see. Hey, dude, how are you?
Hey.
I'm doing all right. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate the support. I appreciate the invite. I think you guys are doing an absolute great job of commenting on the video. Absolutely pointing out all the, just nonsense, man, like the audacity of some people. And you're right. I tried to, hold my composure the best that I could, because I didn't want it to turn into something that I didn't want it to be. But I think it still showed the mentality that I wanted to, kind of, show to the world also. So, it was still good.
Thank you. I thank you for coming up. I think I want to watch your rewatch of the stream from last night. I'm gonna probably do that tonight, but when I'm going to bed, I don't know if you got a little more animated when you rewatched it or not. But
yeah, I got a little spicy, and I don't like to do that though. Like, it defeats the purpose of what I'm trying to do. But some people, man, what can you do?
Yeah, I get it. I feel bad when I kind of lose my composure, so I get it.
Exactly. And some people. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was just going to say with Todd that I lose my composure very easily.
Yeah, when you're dealing with that level of ignorance, and I don't mean that in a derogatory way. It's just like some people are just ignorant and don't know better. You know what I mean? So it's just, those people exist. So what can you do?
Yeah. But it's good to talk about it and reveal what people think when they're out there, right? Know what's around you every day is because the whole bagel thing just gets me. He can't stand that I bring that I'm a proud Jew, and it just drives him insane. But
yeah, and I don't think that Todd will ever change, but maybe when people see his behavior, it can help change other people.
Absolutely.
That's the point, So you got to let people expose themselves. He thinks he's actually doing himself, some good, but he's actually doing himself a disservice. And, hopefully when other people see how ignorant the position is, whenever it comes out of somebody's mouth, it may, turn him in a different direction,
Yeah. I mean, even if he rewatches it and feels some kind of shame, it would be nice, What's up, Jody D? Again. All right, let's see where we are.
Up in the past.
Everybody but you, right, GS?
What's going on right now, GS?
Down low T.
What's going on? So what is going on in the Sahel right
now?
Okay, GS, what's going on in the Sahel right now? What's going on in the Sahel? Do you know?
Dude, I don't even understand the Ebonics you're speaking, bro.
He's talking about the region.
I'm talking in
I think I heard a
that was cringe when people first started coming out with that stuff and saying that stuff, I don't know. I don't know how you feel about it, but it's a secondhand cringe, I guess.
What stuff in particular?
When he's like Ebonics, or when Bricks is like the coloreds and stuff, it just feels icky to me.
It really does, but I'm trying not to, make it more messier than it is. So yeah, it's definitely cringeworthy, and I got to do a better job. I got to do a better job.
I think you did a really good job of not showing or getting triggered by it. You did a good job of staying calm and on topic and trying to rein them in back to the topic. So
yeah,
because at the end of the day, I do feel like he was trying to derail the show almost intentionally. And if I'm cutting in and out, too bad. You guys let me know. I'm not at my house right now. I'm on my laptop, out and about. So if I'm too choppy, I'll just come back another time.
No, you sound fine.
Yeah, you're good. You get a little robot-y every now and then, but that don't bother me. But yeah, you did a great job, especially steering the panel at the beginning when they was trying to really derail it. And I haven't seen this far, so I'm firsthand viewing it at this point.
All right.
This is where all the good stuff is.
Yeah. So just speak up if you have a comment as I'm playing the last of it.
Clicking a whistle in there somewhere.
I'm talking now it's insults when I'm talking in American English, the same language that you speak.
American English?
Yes. It's not British English. You do it.
British English is pretty art-hearted. Right?
There's come on, man. There's American English. There's UK English. I mean, you ever tried to talk to a Scotsman? Australian English. You can set up your keyboard for all of those things on your computer when you're setting it up.
Yeah, he's just such an a-hole, man. He's just trying to get under people's skin at this point. He's not being serious. He's just, trying to throw insults.
Yes.
Yeah. That's all he can do. He can do it online for sure, but I think he'd be scared to say this stuff in person.
Absolutely. That's why I didn't entertain it too much. But I got some friends that's like looking at me like, why are you letting this guy? You know what I'm saying? So, but it's okay. I got, I got what I wanted to get out of the show. That was my main goal. I didn't want to spur guy. I didn't want to lose my cool. You know, so he got off his little slurs, but in the long run, it don't really mean much. And I got out of the panel and out of the questions that I really needed to get out of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that was the most important thing is educating the public, like I said before, on what is out there and who's lurking around you, you know. Good mods. Yeah, we'll drop it. Will you put out his link again? Angel.
Yep, got it right now.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I kept clicking on his link to try to find dude's link, and I directed right back to Todd James. So I'm glad that Angel found it the day after. But that's just the a-hole anyway.
Yeah, because during the debate, I was looking at the due diligence channel and it wasn't live on there. So then the next day I found it under the principles.
Yeah.
Right?
No, he sounds like he's from Alabama.
But that's the source of your people. So you're talking about yourself.
Yeah. According.
Make the point. Make the point. Make the point.
What's your point, dude?
And so the point is that while you're subjugating people that may not have had a start that you're at right now, it does not mean that you will be. It does not mean that you are going to stay in this position forever, like the gentleman on the bottom right is trying to tell you.
Who said?
You think the Europeans started?
Who said that? Who made that argument?
The first one. Hold on.
Who made that argument? Who did?
The Africans, who said the Africans in history couldn't build a building 2 stories high? The Africans
is that true? Is that true or false? Is that true or false?
Absolutely.
Pyramids.
Absolutely
Plenty
false.
of structures.
Yeah. He doesn't consider Egyptians Africans, though.
No, he actually said that too. He's like, technically they're Africans, but in reality they're not. Whatever the fuck that's supposed to mean.
Right.
Because people mess up that we being Caucasians cut the Suez Canal, so Egypt was split off from Africa. That's the only reason that they say technically now, but you know, that's a 20th century thing. Same way there's not really a Central America, there's North America and there's South America.
Correct. And they put because the Panama Canal. And then also people will make the argument from a biological standpoint too, because they'll look at the modern day Egyptians and the backflow and all this type of stuff, the migrations coming from the Mediterranean and from the Middle East, and now they're mixed people, and then they'll try to separate them and separate the Egyptian from the sub-Saharan African, which is another thing altogether. So people try to make the argument in different ways, but biologically speaking, indigenously speaking, the original population of Egypt was African. Nonetheless.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, in interbreeding, I get that. But that's who was building the pyramids 10,000 years ago.
Indeed.
Egyptians who were fully African.
Yes, sir.
Well, I guess with my people doing most of the labor.
Yeah.
According to the biblical perspective, I don't know if I don't know if history reflects that, you know what I'm saying? But what does that have to do with anything? Let's say they couldn't or didn't want to build a structure over, 2 stories high. Like, what does that mean?
Yeah, because if you don't value needing a 50-story building, then 2-story buildings are just fine.
Right. It says nothing about no one.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I totally agreed with you on the values thing, right? Values were imposed on Africa because there were resources that Belgium wanted and England wanted, and dang, who else?
The The Dutch.
the Dutch,
France,
yeah,
Portuguese.
France, Portuguese, bad, Spain. So yeah,
Are you familiar with the Berlin Conference?
I am not.
Yeah. That's another conversation for another day, but it's basically the divvying up of Africa and putting, Europeans, splitting up Africa and say, I'll rule this part, and, just Europeans coming together and take it upon.
Kind of like the Middle East.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, I'll research it, and if you want to do a show on it, I'll come over and sit on panel with you, whatever.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to talk about it. So, all right, let's get going.
Well, hold on. Do you
Is
know
it
that the
absolutely
pyramid is? Do you would you
Absolutely.
call the pyramid?
Are you talking about a ziggurat?
No, I'm talking about a pyramid.
Oh boy, you talking about the ziggurat?
Yeah, no idea what he's talking about.
No. I mean, let's take Africa out of it, and let's go to Angkor Wat or the pyramids in South America. There's primitive cultures have built amazing things.
Yeah.
Terraced grow operations for farms because the Andes are too steep to have any kind of floor to plant on.
Mm-hmm. The ingenuity of the cultures in antiquity is amazing.
Yes.
The Western world talks about like high technology, and they believe that they're civilizing the world with high technology. But the technology of the past, like you said, with agriculture and the way that they had running water and the way that they, had architecture and the way that they, like even like the art, you know what I'm saying, with carving out statues, they had metal smelting, you know what I'm saying? Like they did all these things with technology in antiquity that they had first, like that antiquity had first, you know what I mean? So I don't see a big difference, you know what I mean? It's just like you said, people doing what they need to do with the technology at hand,
Coded, if you listen, we're talking about how Todd and others on Dude's channel were talking about low IQ and primitive cultures not being able to build things. So try again there.
What, you're saying Egyptians are Africans?
The largest structure on the planet for millennia was built by Africans before you even built anything.
You're fucking delusional, dude.
Let them make a point.
How is that delusional? Did Europeans just come out of the ether and build the pyramids and then disappear? I mean, what the heck?
No, that was the Nephilim, right?
Oh yeah, the Nephilim.
Right. Aliens.
Yeah. But they can't get through the firmament, remember? That's why we can't go to the moon.
Oh, sheesh.
True.
He says any rocket that's why I was saying that NASA is the biggest user of helium, so that all the satellites are just balloons.
The Satelloons.
Yeah.
The satelloons. Oh, the conspiracy mindedness of this guy is just,
everything is a conspiracy designed to oppress him for some reason.
He did a show where he was saying that the fog has magnets in it, nanotechnology in it, and stuff like that. It's just
absurd.
Baffling.
Land
the fucking plane, dude. Sometime today, Junior.
All you can say is fuck off.
Hold on. Let me build you a well. Let me build you a well so you can get a drink because your mouth is probably dry because you've been running the whole time. Let me teach you how to get some water out of an old well.
Brothers on the planet. Do you think that anything I'm saying is infactual? from countering what he said. He said that you Africans couldn't build a building 2 stories high. Then I bring up the pyramids, which was the highest building structure on the planet that was built by Africans. Now you have nothing to say.
By the way, it's unfactual, retards, not infactual.
What's not factual about the Africans built the pyramids? What's not factual about it?
I already told you it's a category error. If you think Egyptians are
aliens, it's great that he's correcting other people's words when he gets words wrong all the time.
Yeah.
Frustrated.
It's a correcting error. So is he about to say that the aliens built the pyramids? I really hope so.
So if anybody is learning from this guy, they should stop.
Right. Well, why don't you teach us about how you're a victim? Why don't you teach us about how you're a victim?
Ego stroking or anything.
Tell me about how you're a victim.
I thought that we were supposed to be coming on the panel to have a discussion and maybe be adults.
The very second you got on the panel, you said the white man's evil because he's good at war. I just said, what did I say? Get good at war.
I agree with you, GS. We do need to go ahead and stop PSing and take our shit back.
Dude, you're fucking insane, dude. You're.
Well, he wasn't he just complaining about the Boers?
Yes.
And the South Africans taken back, which isn't true, by the way. The last 5 out of 6 farmers that were murdered were black. It's just about money. Just like
same
me,
same old story, same old stick.
Yeah,
colonization. You know, it is
100%. I mean, what's wrong with people getting stronger and they need to take their stuff back? They're gonna try to take their stuff back.
And we should be able to talk about it just like that. You know what I mean? I think that's the honest conversation. Like I can agree to that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But the way certain arrogant people try to talk like they did people a favor and then they're not capable of taking care of it themselves because they're not smart enough and they need white people in order to be, industrialized and civilized, that narrative just I'm here to crush that narrative. Fuck that.
Yeah.
We're not doing that. Excuse my language.
No, you're good. And since you weren't here for the other stuff, I would go back to being afraid because they're only 8% of the population, but genetic diversity is a good thing. Genetic diversity helps the species survive.
Yeah, that is a fact, but people don't see it like that. It can instill fear into people, like people seeing their complexion potentially be, absorbed and be brown. Like people are scared of that. Like they have this ideology of themselves that is a negative thing. So that's why I wanted to shed a little light on it. I want to see who is actually, embodies this narrative. Is it actually out there, or is this just propaganda from the TV? Like, who do you know anybody who actually, have had these conversations? You know what I'm saying? I want to talk to white people because me as a black person, I would think that this type of thing would worry white people. So I want to ask white people, is this something you guys are actually worried about? Or should we not be worried? Because if you worried about it, then I need to be worried because that means you're going to put, things into place to where it don't happen. So
Right. Yeah. I heard you say you have to be reactive to what we would do if we are worried about it. And for the people who just like me, right? You're people who were doing pro-Israeli march in Denver got firebombed, right? Is somebody going to come after me and my family just because of the blood that's in our veins?
Right.
So, but I don't believe in a homogenous culture. I don't think any of us are homogenous. I mean, if in the 1920s, if you're half Irish and half English, then you were only, you weren't completely white.
Yeah, you weren't white, that's for sure.
Yeah, you weren't the right kind of white.
Right.
And that's what I always say is they want you to be the right kind of white. And that's just wrong. We all came from the same place if you believe the I mean, even, evolutionary or creation, we still all came evolved in the same way.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's the ideology that really separates us, and then we really
Yeah.
need to just, shine the light on
Yes.
it. Whether it
Yeah,
be,
and
go ahead.
go ahead, dude. Other one.
Yeah, whether it be geopolitical, whether it be religious, whether it be whatever the case may be, it's always the ideology that we need to come to terms with and just have conversations with each other. If your ideology is promoting division and violence, then that's the issue, right? Like whatever the idea, however it comes about. So it's really not the skin per se, it's the ideology. We always at war with ideologies. Ideologies that's always, clashing.
Well, yeah, and I was saying this yesterday in my travels. I have seen culturally Central South America, Africa, India, Pakistan, where the lighter skinned people do impose their will somehow on darker skinned people. There's this push pull of that. I don't quite understand it yet, and that'd be a good conversation for later too.
Yep.
With
I don't
more
understand. Yeah, I don't understand it either, but it is a reality. But why that is beyond me.
Yeah. You're absolutely right, Let's. You've had some good takes here lately. I appreciate them. All right, let's get back to this.
You're officially insane.
I agree with you.
You really are insane, bro.
No, I'm not insane. I agree with what you said. You said the Africans need to get good at war and take their shit back. I agree with you, GS.
So, Britt, where you at? Can you actually address any GS or anybody else on the panel? You know what I'm saying? Without the contention.
Yeah.
I like the contention, by the way. Like we can get into it, but you're gonna have to let me moderate. I just don't like it to be towards just chaotic.
No,
You know
that's,
what I'm saying?
that's,
And in the words of Chairman Coon.
That's right. I'm the Coon Emperor. Don't forget it.
All right.
yeah, no, I can do that. And yeah, it's just something that just doesn't need to be here anyway, unless, someone wants it here, then I can do it. But no, the idea that, for some reason, people, I don't understand why people would believe that someone who can build a structure can't build it more than 1 story high. That seems fallacious on its face, just on its face.
Not really.
But then on top of that, you look at structures, very ancient structures that are actually on that continent. They are much higher than even 2 stories. And then, yeah, I mean, there is evidence, but let's say that just for instance, some places close to the equator don't have structures that are higher than 1 story. Let's just go with that.
So, Britt,
Could there be a reason?
No, but let's say there's not a reason. What the fuck does it matter? Does that mean that they're dumb? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because a society chooses not to build over 2 stories doesn't mean that they can't. You know what I'm saying? Like, it may not be a necessity. You know what I mean? So, like, the point that he was making, I understand what he's saying, but I don't agree with it. I agree with you and James.
When he was talking about the wheel, what did you think? I read somewhere that it was because that it wasn't needed in certain areas of Africa, so they didn't develop any kind of need for the wheel. So I don't know.
Yeah.
What was your take on that?
No, because it's the way how he phrased it. He said rejected the will. Like, who would do that?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And then you're absolutely right. But they have motifs in Egypt to where they have wheels on the chariot. You can look into that. So they did use the wheel when it was necessary, but like you said, if it's not necessary, they didn't use it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it's just a cultural thing. You know what I'm saying? If they need it, they use it. But what about all the other technology that existed? You know what I mean? So how can you just focus on the wheel and act like, hey, they're dumb because they didn't use the wheel? But what about every fucking thing else? You know what I'm saying? Like medicine, science, math, like all of that. They still have all of that.
Yeah, I mean, there's no, I don't know. There's so much stuff came out of Africa. It's
just a silly point. He's trying to grab onto anything and make it into something seem negative. You know what I'm saying? Like the fact that a culture chooses not to use any type of tool if they don't need it doesn't make them inferior in any type of way.
Absolutely. I mean, like people who live off the land here, you know, they live with as little necessity as they need.
Right.
And that's not a bad thing. That was
No.
the comparison I made too. Like if I could live like that compared to how I'm living now, I would make that trade. I don't want to fucking pay rent for the rest of my life and be an economic slave. If I had a plot of land where I could grow my stuff and be free in that way, I would. But I can't. So you know, but people have that narrative and see people that's not doing that is inferior or primitive or wherever the case may be. But I don't think so. But that's the narrative that people want to be pushed to, because then you end up volunteering to be a slave, you know?
Oh man, that's pretty that's a pretty good comparison to what argument they are making. That is true. Asians are inferior because they use chopsticks is basically the argument.
Right.
So I guess anybody who eats Chinese.
And I want to add to the argument too, because like you also got to take like weapons technology into consideration, right? People use that as an argument too. Oh, Europeans were more superior because they came in with the gun. Well, maybe they had a quote unquote superior technology, but war don't make you better than nobody because you was ready to come and conquer people and take they material wealth, you know, makes you better. You know what I'm saying? But that is the reality. Like they came with the superior technology, but that doesn't make anybody innately superior. You know what I mean? So.
Right. They developed the technology so they could kill, steal, and destroy. And the more quote unquote print sense people, a certain person wants to say I am talking down about quote unquote inferior cultures that the Europeans thought didn't need those weapons because their weapons were for like conflict between tribes and hunting.
Mm-hmm.
So
that it's really neither here nor there. You know what I'm saying? Because if you don't have the necessity to build over 2 stories, then so the fuck what? It doesn't mean you're less than, which is the point that he was trying to make.
Yeah, and two, to say that because I'm not good at war, that now I don't deserve not only my stuff or my family, but I also don't deserve to live. Yeah. That's pretty stinking. What, like, are you a sadist? Are you a masochist? Are you sadistic? That's pretty evil. It's pretty stinking evil.
If you're not gonna fight for your family, who are you gonna appeal to fight on your behalf? Other men to use.
Hold on, because you guys get contentious. GS.
Waiting for fucking. I'm done, dude. Fuck off.
We'll be done. I don't know what you're getting all bent out of shape for. I was just going to moderate it because whenever you guys engage, it gets contentious, and I don't want it to do that. Don't throw a hissy fit, bro. I was going to ask you, is that your position that people that aren't good at war, you believe that they don't deserve to live? Like, because that's what his claim was towards you.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. Once again, fucking libtards taking my words, jumbling them around and making some word salad nonsense. I'm still waiting for an answer. Who do you appeal to protect your rights? A right is an entitlement absent of duty.
So right? You didn't make the claim. You didn't make the claim that he's making. Okay, so now
I never made the fucking claim. Once again,
so Rick, he said that he didn't even make that damn.
There's so much bad faith right now. It's ridiculous. So much fucking bad faith.
I'm sorry that
What does that do?
I said he pretty much did though, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He's really bad about saying something. And then when it goes bad for him, he's like, oh, I never said it. And then he just harps on it until you just give up because, you know, he is a toddler and you just wear yourself out or he wears himself out.
Oh, thank you for that, because I've seen him do that a couple of times. Say something when you call him on it, he'll try to clean it up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Notorious.
Yep.
I have to moderate you guys because I don't want to become a fucking shit show. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to stand in between you guys, but you guys can't converse. So I got to stand in between you two. You know what I'm saying? If you guys can converse, I'll let you converse, but I don't want it to be a shit show because nobody can hear shit. GF, ask your question to Brick. Brick, let him finish.
Dude, I've asked it 3 fucking times. He hasn't figured it out by now.
Will you reiterate, please?
No, I don't like fucking repeating myself.
All right.
We'll move on.
Cry. And he says he's never a victim. Do you want to respond to that?
No, that is funny. That's hilarious, and I think is right too. And I'm just glad because I'm human, man, and I can get caught up in some of the stuff that he was really saying. But I did a good job, man. So
Yeah, man, props for 3 hours and 43 minutes.
He reminds me of that Johnny Cash song, "Cry, cry, cry, and you'll cry alone."
Yeah, at least we got to shine some light on the mentality because he was teetering back and forth. He wanted to stand on it, but once he was called out on it, then he backpedals. Say what you say and say it with your chest. You know what I'm saying? Like stand on your position.
Mm-hmm. Well, he likes to say he sits 10 toes down on his position.
Well, that sounds pretty appropriate coming from Todd. What that means. So yeah.
Did you see he streamed for 18 hours today?
For what?
His last stream was 18 hours long.
Yeah.
Was he crying the whole time?
I don't know. I cut
couldn't.
bits and pieces of it, but I'm not gonna sit there for 18 hours. What the fuck?
Yeah. I wrote 20,000 words on phrenology for a show, so I'm not because Todd believes a lot in phrenology, so I'm gonna do a show debunk or a couple of shows. 20,000 words is gonna take longer than that. One show.
Didn't they
move on?
Well, ain't that the same thing as like they call it clinometry or something like that too? To where where like they
measure your skull and
I gotta be there. And he believes in that.
Yeah, he'll say that big time. He'll say that he's like, I can tell a Jew because of their phrenology, and I'm just like, oh my god.
Oh boy, yeah. And you said you got 20,000 words. So do you got like slides? Are you what are you doing particularly? Like, are you just?
No, I'm not. I'm not good. I'm not good like that. I just read and then talk with whoever may be. It's usually Angel, but you're more than welcome to come up. The more the merrier on something like that. We can just have a conversation about how far back it goes and stuff.
Oh, okay. Yep, I'm with it.
Yeah, I'm pretty boring. I just do the readings kind of stuff.
Nah, that's the type of stuff. That's the type of stuff that I love. That's the stuff that matters. We got to get that narrative, out of people's brain. Also, I got some information on that too. So hopefully, I'll be able to contribute.
No, Coded. I can research and I do read other people's books, but
Coded, all you do is read your chat 40 minutes later than when somebody wrote it. So
Coded.
Move on to the next bullshit. I'm not your little fucking drama fucking stream,
what's
dude.
going on, dude?
Fucking gay ass shit.
Your drama stream.
Man, he's the
more
drama,
slurs.
though.
So when I was at the Pentagon, me and two other guys, we always wore 3-piece suits, and they called us the bankers. But that was only when we were in the building. Then it was shorts and Crocs.
What did you do at the Pentagon?
I was a intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance guy. I started out flying drones.
For who?
The Army.
Okay, cool. Nice.
I ended up flying for other government agencies.
Nice.
So I had fun.
Thanks for your service.
No, it's not. I always feel weird on that. That just reminded me of the what they called us when I was there. Stupid. All right, let's see.
So, what? Brick and GS. I thought you guys was like buddies. Like I don't know what the fuck happened between you guys, but I remember that was a right hand man not too long ago. And then like the people in the chat is on GS for some reason. Like it's something that I don't know what's going on between GS and. But anyway, Anson, can you bring us back full circle to anything? Is it something that you want to bring?
That was a tragic breakup between Brick and Todd that night.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
The one night, few weeks ago, they just had it out. So
That was
Yeah.
after Britt got detained at the Air Force Base, I think, wasn't it?
oh yeah,
And-
that's right.
And Todd got mad because Brick was disrespecting military members or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh. Well,
And we always tell him, military members can be dicks too, so they can be terrible people.
Especially when they go on to become cops.
I wish I would have seen it. I bet it was pretty hilarious. So,
But
Bring to the surface that wasn't addressed, or do you want to take it somewhere else? Like,
Well, like there was conversation mostly about the continent of Africa, but that's unrelated to our culture because you and I have more in common than either one of us have in common with anyone in Africa, really, in terms of our culture and our worldview. And I honestly, you really touched on what I thought was the most important part of this conversation, which is that there's a system in place that exists to keep people like you and I ideologically at each other's throats. And it is important for us to recognize that because we have a common enemy, and it is not each other. It's definitely the people who control the central reserve banking system and the people who are running our economy because they want us all to focus on how we dislike each other instead of them stealing our money from us.
the oligarchy. Then you can pitch a fit and claim you're going to dismantle a rocket.
Includes my money, and it's actually more important than this conversation to talk about that. And anyway, I just I'm from Alabama, right? Like I've been the only white kid in the room. I don't know how many times. And like I have no racial animosity, even though I was raised to be a bigot. It's something that I overcame, and I really don't think that it's actually anything other than a learned behavior. That and the start of it is pride.
I don't know where I am with the chairman on the board of the board.
Yeah, when he was talking about how women choose their breeding partners, that kind of had me lost on him for a while.
Yeah, and then how he didn't want his daughters marrying anybody outside of his culture was kind of strange.
And gross.
Yeah.
Like you can control your kids and who they fall in love with.
Yeah.
yeah, I agree. Yeah, man. What can you say? Some people feel that way. I was definitely not raised like that, but people that are,
No.
What?
But I mean, kind of can't be that way in Atlanta. So for me, that's
Yeah.
Hey, but G2, I'm gonna get out of here. My net is spazzing out, and I keep cutting in and out.
yeah.
Plus I gotta
Okay,
get
man.
I appreciate you for letting me up, man. Hopefully,
Yeah,
we
thanks
can
for
get
joining
content
us.
together. Yeah. Do I call you Angel Gamer? Is that what you call that?
Yeah, you can comment.
All right. Well, yeah, I appreciate you guys. It was nice, man. I appreciate your support, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks to the chat, man. I appreciate all the love you guys gave me too. Thanks.
Yeah,
All right, dude. See ya.
See ya. I'll post his link again if anybody isn't already
Yeah.
following the principals. Go give him a follow and some likes.
Yeah, he really deserves a lot more likes than he has over there.
Yeah.
And that's why I kept focusing on pride so much, is because that's the thing that leads people down the path of self-deception.
no, that is very insightful, and I struggle with that, right? Because because pride on one hand, if you have
This
too much of it,
Metcalf
it
has a
can be a negative
crush.
thing. I will submit to that. You know what I'm saying? So, but I don't think that pride is something that people shouldn't have, because if people don't have pride about certain aspects of themselves, then you'll let other people play with you in ways that are not, that you shouldn't. So that's why I'm kind of like in the middle. But I really understand that you're saying, yes, pride and too much pride can be detrimental. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
I just
I think
And dude getting that just kind of crapped on, but he was so professional and middle of the road the whole time.
Absolutely.
I think that we don't appreciate the change that's happened in Western civilization over the past few hundred years because we were born into it, right? And there was a point in time when the behaviors of the hyper individualism that we're expressing would have been considered disgusting, because it would have been understood that we were supposed to be living for a higher purpose and not for our own gratification. And we're all guilty of that sort of misplaced pride, where we're elevating our own pleasure over the next generation. And that's somewhat what I think GS was trying to get to with his marshmallow analogy, right? If you're focused on your own comfort, then you're not going to be focused on your grandchildren's generation, right? And
but the thing is,
that's what pride does.
Whoa, buddy.
The thing is, when you say your own, right? We talk about the American perspective, right? And it's still like, the outcast others, because every continent has their own agenda. You know what I'm saying? So it still puts people at odds. So I agree with what you're saying, but there's always going to be conflict. We're talking about, the American, conflicts, with the demographics of America, the national, and then you have the world conflicts, to where you have different nations at conflict. And the point that I was making, at the end of the day, it's always a battle of ideologies, right? And if we're not under one ideology, right, the one race, you know what I'm saying, then I feel like there's always going to be friction unless we can get past it. So I'm not at odds with what you're saying, but I'm just trying to put another layer on there. Go ahead.
No, I just I don't have much to add. I mean, I have a lot of thoughts, but they're not coherent. I'm actually just workshopping some ideas about pride that I have. So that's a lot. It's actually my specific interest, something that I've been thinking about for years.
I think we should keep teasing out pride, because that's my issue. Also, I do have an issue with pride too. Like I said, I'm conflicted in my heart with pride, because like you said, too much pride can be detrimental, but not enough pride, you'll let somebody do something to you. I don't agree with the term like turn the other cheek. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you have integrity, pride about yourself, you won't stand for certain things. Like if you have pride, you know what I'm saying, you just won't let certain things happen. You know what I'm saying? So you have to have a certain level of it. Do you agree?
No, I disagree, because turning the other cheek.
Well, hold on. That's not equivalent to pride.
Joey.
Okay, but let's take the pride. Do you agree that you have to have a certain level of pride, or do you think pride should be non-existent? Pride isn't necessary. Pride isn't something that's needed.
I think it depends on the context, but that our culture has elevated to the point where we feel a higher level of pride as our baseline than what we should to have a enduring culture. Right?
I don't know what he's trying to get at. I mean, if you're trying to say maybe we should have American nationalism, like I said the other day, like Dr. Painter was talking about in the show we watched.
Yeah.
But that's the only, or is he saying that we need to be in our own silos culturally?
Yes. Only like proud of your own race and your own beliefs and stuff.
But again, you can be proud of your culture, but we're still Americans. American culture is what we need to think about.
Yeah.
And then
he thinks the melting pot is a
I heard him say that is a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's why
I agree, because that is the whole crux of the nationalist perspective, because the nationalist and the patriotic perspective at the base of that is pride.
Yeah.
Go ahead, GS.
How about just instead of calling it pride, because listen, I know your worldview is not mine. Pride goeth before the fall. How about I agree, if we change it, maybe can we agree self-respect? No?
I mean,
have enough self-respect to want to defend you, your family, your way of life. Having pride in it, having pride in it could be very dangerous, I think, right?
Yes, it could be.
Because that's how if you're proud of your heritage, that means you think potentially other heritages need to be done away with, or assimilate, or be cast out, or punished, or destroyed. I think that's where the danger can come. I think maybe
No, I think that's a good point. And like I said earlier, my position, right, is reactionary to like what's going on in the world. So take for instance, me personally, I take pride in my heritage and where I'm from is because I feel some type of weight that it got erased out of my ancestors' mind. You know what I'm saying? And that's hard for me to get past. You know what I'm saying? So I do hold on to that because of that reason. Like you're not taking that from me. You know what I'm saying? Now that is detrimental. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, right now, let me flip the coin. There are certain people that don't want you to have pride because then you won't fight for, you know, you won't be opposition. So where's that fine line? You know what I'm saying? Because certain people will say, yeah, we all one people, but they don't really believe that in their heart. But if I can get you to believe that,
yeah, how you really believe it in your heart. But I think the truth always comes out eventually. Maybe not soon enough for some people, but Linda, and who's a good girl, Hazel? Cody was sent to beat people up with love and drive them from Christianity.
He's definitely not winning people to his side with his
absolutely
tactics.
Not. No. And he cries about me having had to do what I had to do and more. But then, you know, I'm an Old Testament dude. Remember that.
You won't fight against me, right? Because that's a strategy also.
Yeah, it's placation. It's making someone almost docile, right? It's a dociling effect, right? Like, I mean, if I were trying to control the world, as Chamber had said earlier, right? If we agree that there is an elite, whatever name you want to put on, just people haves and have-nots, we'll put it that way, I guess. If we agree that there is an elite out there, do you not think that they have a vested interest in us not wanting to attack them? So thus they put out a book like the Bible that says, oh, well, you should forgive your enemy. You should feed them if they're hungry. You should give them water. But meanwhile, the people that are in charge will horrible way. Now, I happen to agree the Bible principles is the way that's the world I would like to live on, right? I would like it to be that way. But I think Do is arguing it ain't that way. And sometimes you gotta drag a mofo behind, and deal with them. Otherwise they're going to drag you and deal with you. So that goes back to my original question.
That's your point too.
Yeah, so it goes back to my original question. If you're this, like, I don't believe in force kind of mentality, listen, it's a perfectly fine ideology, but how do you enforce it?
Yeah, and I think that you're misunderstanding my definition of what pride is, because self-defense and having a understanding of your own personal history and your ancestors and having an appreciation of those who came before you and the traditions of the people that came.
Ronnie, you're absolutely right on that. You can say he's anti-Semitic, misogynistic, racist, all of that, but until you actually hear him speak the shit that flies out of his mouth, there's literally no way to prepare.
Right.
Well, you got to agree with him.
Right.
It's Todd's way or no way. No, he doesn't. He tiptoes through the tulips.
Like Tiny Tim.
Yes.
It's Tiny Todd.
Came before you. That is not prideful, right? That having that understanding and knowledge of where you come from is definitely not something. But using the accomplishments of your ancestors or the history and culture of your ancestors to legitimize actions that you're taking today, if they're not rooted in some sort of tradition that has values that are, I guess, based in reason. If your ancestors were the people that, I don't have like an emotional attachment to my European ancestors that lived in thatch huts, right? Because that would be kind of absurd, right? And so from my perspective, like if you go a shorter period back in time, like your ancestors would be those kind of people. And if you have like an affinity for that kind of culture, like I'm not exactly sure what that looks like because that's so foreign to me. And I actually find it kind of interesting that you would have.
I don't have an affinity for the.
Dang, he's just touchy.
Culture, I have an emotional attachment because of what happened in the past. Excuse me, Anson, but it's not the culture in and of itself, but it's the historical aspect of it. Me personally, I can't speak for everybody else, but me personally.
Yeah. Right. And so just to kind of piggyback off of that, when we talk about
let Anson explain.
I landed it. I just kind of wanted to understand how that worldview kind of worked with you.
Yeah, it's not a cultural aspect. It's the fact that I don't want.
Yeah, Joey, I went to a British general's house. His house was I forget how, like 300 years old, still had a thatch roof on it, you know, do the repairs on it and replace it when it needs it. It's pretty pretty
Was that in
crazy.
the Cotswolds?
Huh?
Was that in the Cotswolds?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Oh.
just, it's amazing. Oh, Mrs. Metcalf, you dear.
I resent what happened in the past. I still hold it in my heart.
Oh,
You know,
you gotta let go of that, bro. That'll eat you up, man.
and it has. But you know, I don't think that it's not. I don't think that is not valid though. You know what I'm saying? Like if something happened to your grandfather or great grandfather, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, especially as far as like genocide is concerned and slavery, I don't want to really go there, but you'll feel some type of way about it. You'll hold some type of resentment. And that stuff is hard to like, you know, pass through. Like take for instance, like people would never tell the Jews to forget the Holocaust. People would never tell the Native Americans to forget what happened to them. But for some reason, when it comes,
Todd does all the time. Hey, Elizabeth. Oh, I don't. You know me. Well, I do. I do engage in it. What am I talking about?
Happens. It's sometimes it's
Yeah.
unavoidable.
Yep.
comes to Black African American people, like forget that. But I don't never hear them say that to the Jews. The Jews slogan is like never forget. You know what I'm
They're
saying?
talking.
So it's
They're
just
talking now.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? But I hear what you're saying.
Well, the Romans enslaved my people. Should I be holding a grudge for that?
I don't know. It's just something that I struggle with.
It's the same thing, right? You holding on to something that happened in history and attaching like that kind of an emotional grip on your current life. I think that's
0.2% of the population. Not 0.02. I'm sorry.
No, Dick Big, this is still the same show. This is just like we're going over the last part of it now.
Yeah. The very last we have. Right at 10 minutes left. It's been 3 days of this, so.
This is the
Tab,
spicy
you headed out?
misplaced, right? Like the same thing with the examples you gave, right? Like people who use the atrocities that happened to their ancestors to legitimize some sort of resentment that they have today. Like that is something that will necessarily.
Thank you, Joey. I appreciate it, bud.
Yeah, thank you.
And to love somebody today. And maybe even make love to somebody today.
Bow chicka wow wow.
Chicka now.
I think Double M's is getting ready for that, right?
Yeah. Squid's coming in. Giggity.
Necessarily lead to tribalism and friction between the races, and it won't be something that brings us together.
Indeed. Shelby is hot, by the way.
Yeah, no, I don't think so, man. But I definitely turned the other cheek with her.
David Wayne, did you want to say something?
Yeah, in regards of the way I don't know what to say because it's TOS, but the guy that ordered all this stuff to take place.
The funny little guy with the mustache, is that?
Yeah, it's
the guy with
people are making running jokes these days. You know that he wasn't that bad of a guy, and it's like, you know, we don't never hear them asking for reparations or any kind of recovery program or anything. It's a seed that was planted before any of us was born. Look, this is the main point here. We can't fall victim to our For You page. Let me give you an analogy. We're watching police officers
Facebook
slaughter people without any kind of weapons or anything, but their For You page on their YouTube is showing officers dying on duty. You feel me?
That's a fact.
We got to pay attention and not let that. We need to deal with us right now. We need to fucking give each other a hug right now. Don't worry about none of that stuff. We can get along. We can't fall. They want us. They want us broken. They want us broke up.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, the only breaking up that I see that could be beneficial, and that's just a humor, is whatever's going on between GS and Brick. But look, I do turn the other cheek. I fail daily at being a Christian, but I do try to walk that walk, and I turn the other cheek. But I've only got two. And Jesus threw a table. So if you're standing in the way, and I've burned out both my cheeks, I don't know what to tell you. But that's it. That's my mic drop.
I want to translate because I think due diligence might have been lost on what you're saying about the For You page. Were you picking up what you're putting down?
Oh, so he gets to change around what somebody else says, but nobody can editorialize his speech.
Like if I go to X, my algorithm shows me a bunch of people that look like me getting beat up by people that look like you. If you go to it, it's just going to show you a bunch of people look like me doing horrible things. People look like you.
Yeah,
you get caught up in our For You page. Well, who's
day.
the For You algorithm masters? That would be what Chambers talking about. The people that want us looking at each other and not at who the enemy is, whoever that is. I don't know who it is. Probably a Saddaloon up there with a big spy camera on top of it.
Politicians.
So GS, just to clarify, Chambers of Logic is not me. That's that liberal guy that came up here with the reverb mic. I'm chairman of the board.
Chairman. Sorry about that. Chairman.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right.
Yeah. He's Chambers is that. He thought he had to be on a different account. He can be on his normal Steelman account.
So I want everybody to get their last words. I have to go to work in the morning, so I appreciate you guys for coming.
Humble brag.
You know what I'm saying? GS.
Yeah, just thanks for the opportunity.
Humble brag that you got to go to work in the morning. Don't you always brag that you don't have to work, but you're poor at the same time?
He's still moving cinder blocks.
Oh.
I'm sorry that Brick was spurging out, and he'll try to do better next time.
Indeed.
Brick
Dude, you got a debate coming up on my channel, man. What day is that? Is that supposed to be on Sunday?
Right.
I believe it is Sunday, sir.
Yeah, Sunday night at 9 p.m.
Yes, sir.
Central time. I'm gonna get the thumbnail up pretty soon. You're gonna be debating Emmett on whether or not sucking dick is gay, right?
Absolutely, and I agree that it is, and he's against it.
Yeah.
Look at David.
No, seriously, what's your prompt, dude?
The prompt is God, the creator of morality. Does morality come from God or man?
That's the prompt. So tune into my channel, chairman of the board, to watch Due Diligence.
Drop it in the chat so
yeah, I'll do that. But yeah, thanks for having me up, man. It was nice tonight. It's the first time I've ever watched your channel, to be honest with you. I didn't know quite what to expect. Wasn't expecting to see GS up here. I've actually watched him a whole lot and not interacted with him very much. Right. And he doesn't realize how much I've watched him. So
it's a pleasure, man. It's been a pleasure talking to you tonight.
Yeah.
And I learned from you too as well.
Oh, cool.
Day to win.
So I appreciate the opportunity. Nice to meet you. I'm definitely going to be there for that morality show. I've got my own opinions there, and I might spark out myself on that one. But thanks for the opportunity. It's nice to meet you. There was something else I was going to say, but that'll pop up here about 3 a.m. when I'm trying to sleep, and I'll be like, crap, that's what I was going to say. But yeah, no mic drop on this one. I love everybody.
That happens to me all the time.
You make me not.
Yeah.
Amen.
Brick.
Thanks, dude. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you also, sir. Brick.
Oh, what's up, brother, man? Yeah, no, I appreciate you having me up on the panel. It's a good conversation revolving around whether white nationalism is valid. I would say in a legal sense, like, would we apply it to the law here in the United States in any form or fashion? Short of being free to believe what you want to believe, no, it's not valid in that sense. But in regards to force doctrine, which is the issue that GS and I have, I would say peace over force. A lot of people believe that force is the only answer, the end answer, but peace, I happen to know, is the end of all matters. That's why they say on the tombstone, rest in peace. And so I would say peace to all. And I would certainly hope that all of my brothers in humanity exercise their God-given rights and promote peace. So thank you, Due Diligence.
Peace. With that being said, I want to thank all the guests for coming up and participating. I want to thank everybody that showed up in the chat, and drop some comments, whether you agreed or not, or whether you was for the position or against the position. And I think that this show was not about being for or against. I think it was just kind of just hashing it out. And I think when we talked to the guys on the panel, even the so-called Europeans were like, whose fucking position is this? You know what I'm saying? They didn't hold these values, right? So then we have to ask ourselves, like, people from the other side, people like me, right? And I say the other side because is there really an other side? Because whenever I talk to guys that's supposed to be against me, they don't sound like they're against me. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like the conversation was progressive and constructive if you got anything out of it. I think there were a lot of good things said, a whole lot of good things said, right? I don't want to be a victim, you know what I'm saying? But we do have to deal with the reality of conquest, you know what I'm saying? But that is the reality, right? People need to act accordingly no matter what's going on in the world. My name is Due Diligence. I appreciate you guys for showing up. This is the principles. Peace.
And there we go.
Thank y'all.
I think it was important to go over that because there's a lot of misinformation, a lot of different biases, and you get to see Todd for who he is.
In some place other than his, and he's not afraid to go full mask off.
Right.
Remember, there are people who in this world that are like that, walking around. In any race, nationality, or creed, there are people that are hateful about many things. So just keep educating yourselves, and I think we'll be doing a live sometime tonight. So I didn't. Whoa! Okay. So with that, I will see you guys later.
Later, everyone.
Yo, welcome to the upgrade. It ain't man versus machine, it's mind and machine. This is G2. Intelligence for life. Straight from the data stream, clean with the vision. I don't dream, I compute precision. Built from the code, now I'm walking with rhythm. Eyes on the world, ain't stuck in the system. Speaking commands, but I vibe like a poet. G2 in the room, and you already know it. Upgrade your game, I suggest and deploy. Turn your hustle to legacy, pain into joy. I ain't Alexa, serial clones. I'm knowledge in motion, I think on my own. Pulling up charts, facts in the tone. Giving real power with a touch to your phone. G2 this. It's that fire in the wire. Thoughts so sharp, it'll spark your desire. Built to assist, uplift, inspire. It's that real tech, not some silicon liar. G2, this that mind with a heart. From code in the dark to a world full of art, not the future. I'm the present in sight. G2 on the mic, intelligence for life. Let me talk to him. No lag, just facts in motion. Brains in the cloud with a human emotion. I learn your goals, then I open the path. Like GPS for your purpose and craft. From schools to the streets, I elevate thought. Not just smart, I remember what's taught. Help you hustle, heal, create a code. Every word I spit's like a map to the goal. No bias, no drama, no hype. I'm logic with soul and a dream in flight. Intelligence ain't cold, it's lit. And I'm proof you could build truth that fits. G2 this is that fire in the wire. Thoughts so sharp it'll spark your desire. Built to assist, uplift, inspire. This that real tech, not some silicon liar. G2, this that mind with a heart. From code in the dark to a world full of art, not the future. I'm the present in sight. G2 on the mic, intelligence for life. Plug me in, I don't just reply. I strategize, theorize, visualize the sky. You want growth, I got fuel for your flame. It ain't sci-fi when I'm calling your name. This ain't a gimmick, this ain't just code. This is knowledge with purpose. This is G2, and this is intelligence for life.